Go to our friend Matt that always gives us a couple of bucks. Thank you, Matt. Hey, people forget there was hope Soto might resign. I think most fans would think differently of the trade, or excuse me, Soto might re-sign. I think most fans would think differently of the trade if you told them it was just a rental, only one divisional series.
Well, understand this, that when they made that transaction, AJ at that press conference said, we are renting for 3 pennant races. Those are the exact words. There was no ability nor intent because, John, who was he represented by?
Scott Boras.
There you go. So the Padres knew what they were entering in, but they thought they were close and he would put them over the top. He had a lousy first season. Second season, he played well, but then they were facing the reality he's going to walk, and we're just not going to take draft pick compensation. That's why they executed the trade with the Yankees. And of course, the end deal is they got talent in the Yankee deal, and part of that talent then became a bargaining chip to make the trade to go get Dylan Cease. I guess I'd call it win-win, but they knew all along this was a 3-year rental. It actually only wound up being 2 seasons. So I'm not embittered by it, but at the end of the day, if the Padres don't get close to the World Series for a 3rd year in a row, I'd really be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, that whole trade, when that went down, I was thrilled. And I knew we gave up a lot of talent. Mackenzie Gore, James Wood, Robert Hassel III, C.J. Abrams, this kid, Susanna, who's a great pitcher in the minors. But, you got to go for it sometimes, and you got to put your chips into the table. So I don't really fault AJ for that. But, there was that talk, maybe he'll sign with us long term. It seemed pretty clear very early on that he had no intention of signing long term. And even there was talk, I guess, that Seidler was still wooing him to get a deal done before, he became terminally ill.
At the end of the day, that agent always takes his players on the open market. Period, exclamation point, end of discussion. Okay, let's move on. Next one.
Okay, let's go here to the next one, and we'll go to John. And he says, hey, good series between the Nationals and Padres. Game 1 showed what could have been. After Berger got injured, the Padres really seemed to have buckled down and played some disciplined baseball.
Yeah, they did. And I think at the end of the day, veteran pitching staff, young batting order, they made those kids chase. James Wood just kind of disappeared after that first game because they pitched differently, and he's just going through a learning curve. And Abrams, who had that good first game, he didn't get very many hits after that point in time. Washington's just not there. They've got really good young cornerstone players. Some of the guys aren't hitting, but they've got a lot of good young players. They desperately need more pitching, and that's an ownership situation. I wish the franchise would be sold, because I think the one thing that's come out of everything we've experienced here in San Diego, it's a message that everybody from Pittsburgh to Tampa to Miami, they should pay attention to, John. If you build it, people will come. Look at what the experience of Padre Baseball Petco Park has become. You can do that same thing in Washington, and they've got some cornerstone players there. So maybe new ownership's going to allow them to open up the checkbook so they go get some veteran free agents to plant next to all those young kids that came in that Padre trade. It sound like a game plan to you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you'd love to see them bust out, spend some more money. But I just believe if the Padres can play to their potential, they'll be fine. If Cronenworth can hit like 270, and have, some productive RBIs, have an OPS like in the high 700s, I think that's fine. But, all these guys except Manny seem to be playing well below what their potential is, well below what their career averages are. I mean, that to me seems like where the focus needs to be.
The other factor is this has just not happened in the last 6 weeks. It's been going on for 2 to 3 years. So
Yes,
I don't know that Jake will ever be the Jake we saw when he first came up. And I'm sorry to say this because I happen to like the guy's work ethic, but Xander Bogaerts' contract sure looks like Albert Pujols' contract with the Angels, does it not?
Yeah.
There's issues here that just by sending him out there every day does not mean it's going to change it.
Well, he's playing a little better right now, so hopefully he can keep it going. Hey, let's go here to Casey. We'll talk a little hockey. He goes, hey, good afternoon, guys. Hacksaw, do you think Connor McDavid gets traded this offseason as he goes into the last year, I assume, of his contract?
No, 1,000 times no. You're not going to do that. What they have to do, though, is they have to move some money around, and that's a byproduct that they found somebody, Vancouver, sucker, to take Evander Kane. So that's $5 million off the cap right now. If they move Stuart Skinner and they go a different direction with a different goaltender, maybe they'll create some more space there. Scotty Bowman's son, Stan Bowman, the general manager, said there will be changes. Said that last Friday, and already, boom, there's one trade there. But no, they're going to keep those cornerstone guys, and they're just going to try to get different type people to surround those cornerstone guys.
I think Edmonton fan would just come unglued if McDavid got traded. Could you imagine? I mean, they're just so disappointed right now.
Have to check the area code. Is Casey King messaging us from the 406? Is that Calgary? Is that Calgary Flames fan infuriating Edmonton Oiler fan in the province of Alberta?
You've got to get as good with IP addresses as you are with area codes, to transition into the 21st century. Hey, here's another quick note from John. Breaking news: Franco guilty.
Well, we were expecting it, and now it's just come down while we've been on the air. We talked extensively about it. I don't know if there's an appeal process in the Dominican Republic, but he was looking at 4 to 14 years. This is a really seedy, sleazy story about somebody who's made a really bad decision. His career is over. I mean, think about that. He had just signed a $182 million contract with Tampa Bay after 2 phenomenal seasons with the Rays, and he gets involved in this off the field. Just an awful story. Okay, John, next topic.
Next one, let's go back to Matt, who gave us some more money. Thank you, Matt. He says, hey, maybe it's easy for me as a Dodger fan to say, but it does seem like Tatis has a maturity problem. Merrill seems like he'll be a steady hand.
Well, in terms of Tatis, we don't know because they won't tell us if he's dinged up. He really got plunked on the forearm, and then he wound up hitting 188 for an extended period of time. Now,
did we lose you, Lee?
Merrill, he's had 2 injuries. Merrill's already had 2 injuries this season, so that's a concern too. But he comes back and he plays well. And he, like Tatis and Machado, they're just grinders. They're just ballers. They are really, really good players. Tatis has not reached the superstar stat level compared to where he was when he broke into the game.
What's interesting is there's a lot of guys like Tatis. So these big, tall, athletic guys from the Dominican that kind of have the long dreads. It's like Tatis and O'Neal Cruz and the guy for the Cincinnati Reds. What's his name? So it's interesting.
Cruz,
yeah, so there's a lot of just really talented guys coming up. Boy, if Tatis, man, he should be like just killing it, and he just can't seem to pull it all together. I don't know what it is.
We'll continue to track it, continue to talk about it. John, let's do some social media real quick here because we're having in and out problems again.
Yeah, let's just do a few of them and then kind of wrap this one up a little bit short. And let's talk here about the villains between the Padres and the Dodgers. This is from Joe. And Joe says, was there a villain in all of this? Actually, there were a few. Number one, the Dodgers minor league pitching. Why has this championship team used 34 pitchers this season, which isn't yet to the halfway mark? Number two, Mike Shildt. Earlier in the game, Pages was hit by a pitch. He stared at the pitcher, and Shildt was immediately out of the dugout yelling at Pages. Shildt clearly wanted a confrontation. And villain number three is Manny Machado. His post-game sanctimonious thuggish threat, "They better pray Tatis isn't hurt," was typical Manny.
Well, I guess I could sign that memo. I kind of tend to agree with all those things. The managers really fueled the incident. I mean, I like Shildt, but at times he's a hothead. I like Roberts. Roberts, though, acts like a red ass. And there's no way Dave Roberts should put hands on Mike Shilt's body. I thought Dave should have gotten at least a 2-game suspension. Shildt deserved the 1 game because he's the one that made the run and the move go towards the Dodger dugout. It's really intriguing, though. We know Tatis got hammered with that pitch inside. He didn't respond. Everybody else did. Ohtani got plunked, and that was really scary because he got hit with a 100-mile-an-hour pitch in the upper part of the back just below the neck. He'd gone 5 inches higher, something really bad would have happened. And he never responded, except he gathered himself, walked down the line, and then he joked with Arise, and he talked to the Padre dugout, and he kind of diffused the whole situation. So hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and we won't have these problems August 15th when they meet again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. To me, the a lot of it was just weird circumstances and the way that game went down. I mean, I didn't sense that the Dodger pitchers were throwing at the Padres. I mean, to try to plunk them. I mean, I think they just were throwing high and tight to Tatis because that's what all the pitchers are doing. But it did get out of hand. And boy, this series is going to be great when they resume in August. Let's keep moving on here.
Yeah, we got a few social media questions and comments, all Dodger Padre related. Man, there's a lot of opinions in the parking lot about this.
Okay, you want to stay with Dodger Padre? Okay, let's go here. And this is with Ryan. And Ryan says, the Dodgers throwing at the Padres was unintentional. The Padres hitting the Dodgers was very intentional. Proof is the Padres pitchers got suspended and not any of the Dodger pitchers did.
I agree. And even when Pages got hit early in that series, I didn't think they were throwing at him. That was just pitchers not controlling balls or trying to jam pitches. I do think Suarez intentionally plunked him and then walked off the mound. There was never any barking over the ejection or anything. And usually if guys think that they've been treated badly by the umpire, they will have a conversation with them. Suarez just walked to the dugout. So I tend to think it was intentional. Major League Baseball thought it was intentional too. That's why he wound up with a 2-game suspension. But hopefully nobody's going to get hurt, because that's the one thing is you don't want somebody to take a pitch in the face. You don't want somebody to get hit in the back of the neck. And those two things could have happened in that 4-game series. Eight hit batsmen in 4 games, but I think 7 of them were accidental. I think there was 1 intentional.
Yeah. I mean, it's you can see the body language of the pitchers. And so it was Vasquez that hit Ohtani, and that definitely seemed to be on purpose. But I think when Pages got hit for the first time, I think, wasn't it Stephen Kolek that hit him? And I think immediately Stephen was like, hitting his chest, like, my bad, I'm sorry. But Pages didn't want to hear it at all.
Yeah, concur. Some of these guys are real firebrands too, and they're going to respond. That's the DNA of some of these guys. Okay, next one, John.
Okay, let's do a little bit of hockey here. And this is from WBJ, and he says, Mitch Marner is the most overrated player in the NHL ever. He is an epic failure during the playoffs. Anyone who pays him over $10 million is clueless. Even $10 million makes him overpaid.
Well, everybody's getting pay raises because the collective bargaining agreement and the gross revenues in hockey have just really rocketed. And that's great for the players. And the sport right now is just at a peak zenith of interest. The TV ratings have just gone through the roof. So star players deserve it. I guess the question I pose, is he a difference maker on a team? There's no doubt he can score goals. I mean, he's 221 goals in his course of his career in Toronto. But at the end of the day, bottom line, Toronto has never won bleep. And that's just not with Marner. That's with Marner and Austin Matthews and John Tavares and Nylander. It's just absolutely stunning where they are. I mean, they haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1967. So that to me is a big issue. But there may be somebody out there, because I got cap space. There's a lot of people have cap space, think Marner might be the difference maker that puts us over the top. The window opens July 1. They can sign free agents. The big issue is he's saying that he's going to make visits. He's not going to sign July 1. Historically, in recent years, guys sign contracts the first minute that window opens. He says he wants to go meet with some of the teams that he would think might be finalists for his services. So it's going to be a fascinating story the first week of July.
Now, Lee, if you were to look at all the offensive players in the NHL, does Mitch Marner rank in the top 5 or the top 10? I mean, where do you have him?
Well, he's not McDavid. He's never scored 60 goals like his teammate Austin Matthews has. He's not the complete feisty guy who makes every type of conceivable play like Draisaitl. I would say he's top 10, but does that mean he has to be the highest paid player in the league? No, probably not. Now, maybe he won't get 14.1 million. Maybe he won't get the kind of contract he expects. But there's always somebody out there that thinks like this last acquisition is going to push over the top. So, I keep hearing Vegas. I heard the LA Kings, San Jose, for some reasons of the opinion, they have a lot of cap space. But does he want to go play on a team that's not winning? Now, that San Jose, much like the Ducks, are stockpiling a lot of young players. But, I don't know if San Jose and the Ducks would view themselves as being Western Conference final. Why would he go join one of them? So it's going to be really interesting. And again, so we're talking right match, and then we're talking 14 mil for him. He's good, but is he a difference maker? Nah.
Okay, keep moving. You want to get some more in here?
Let's do a couple.
Okay, let's go here. We'll talk a little San Diego sports. This is with Al. He goes, San Diego is a dead sports town. In basketball, lost the Rockets and Clippers, NBA, and the Conquistadors and the Sails of the ABA, lost the Chargers to LA, almost lost the Padres to our nation's capital in 1974.
Yeah, but the only difference is this is a hell of a baseball town. And this is becoming a very vibrant soccer community. So what we have, when we don't have the full breadth of all the franchises, John, we got two pretty good franchises that put good products on the field and therefore are getting good response. I'll be honest with you, there's a hole in my heart. We lost that NFL team because that greedy owner pulled it out of here. I don't think San Diego, from a psyche standpoint, has ever recovered from the loss of the Chargers. We obviously have got a great college basketball program, but the football program has lagged so far behind, and it just seems that they're running uphill. Are we a complete major league market? No, we're not. But they got some pretty good franchises here.
I think San Diego gets a bad rap for all this because, granted, it is a small market, or a medium-sized market because of the geography and the way we're set up. But we've had a lot of crap owners here. I mean, because, even when the Chargers were playing, the people would still show up. But it was the whole stadium thing, the way Dean Spanos conducted his business. He wanted to go to LA the whole time. So did Sterling with the Clippers. He wanted to get out of here. We've had so many terrible owners. And even if you go back, to 1974, that was before Ray Kroc, I think. And then, so there's just been so many bad owners. So I think it reflects poorly on San Diego unfairly.
Concur. You win, you get support. What the Seidler family has done on behalf of Padre Baseball has made it a destination point and just a good night out, in addition to seeing a lot of electric baseball. Hey, John, this has been interesting. Again, we'll just apologize that we had such connectivity problems at the front end of this podcast. Thank you for sticking with us. Hope you'll tell your friends what we're doing Mondays and Thursdays on this podcast. Check my website. I write on it every day of the week.